Welcome to Inside Lake Forest. I'm Eileen Luby, your host, and today I'm here at Forest Park, Lake Forest Beach, where I have the pleasure of interviewing Jim Sauser, one of the adult instructors for the sailing program. Let's step aboard. Hi Jim, it's so nice to meet you.
Hi Eileen, it's good to see you.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to our trip today and our interview. So I'm going to have you walk me through the steps that I need to go through to get on board.
Okay, well first we have to put our life preservers on.
Okay.
And then I'll show you how to step on board.
Excellent.
If you walk right here, this is the shroud, if you hold that, and then step on the boat here.
Okay, over this?
No, step on the boat here, now step over.
Okay.
There you go,
Great.
You're on board. Come on back, it's pretty easy, you can pretty much stand wherever you want.
Okay.
You can go wherever you want. The thing you don't want to do is step on lines and stuff if you can avoid it, because you might slip.
Okay.
But other than that, you can go wherever you want. So let's go sailing.
Great. Jim, tell me, I'd love to ask you first, how did you get into sailing? Can you give me a little history on your passion and how you got involved?
Right. Well, you know, here in the Midwest when I was growing up, there really wasn't a lot of sailing. I suppose if you lived right along the lake, I was a little bit inland, so I didn't really get down to the lake very often. I actually spent some time out in Seattle when I was young, and I learned in the Pacific Northwest. So it was a lot of fun. We sailed up to from Seattle up to almost to Alaska, all through British Columbia and Vancouver in that area, and then sailed back. And when I came back, I found out there was sailing here and started doing Mackinac races and sailing big boats out of Chicago, and went from there, and been doing it ever since. The thing that I really like about the facility here, when I moved in here as a resident, was that I realized that I could get many more days of sailing in because it was right here.
Yeah.
Now, you know, a lot of people have the perception that because you don't have a big boat or because the boat's not in the water, that somehow you can't sail here because we don't have a harbor like Wilmette or Waukegan. But this facility, this dry sail facility, is the appropriate way to keep a boat like this, or a boat of this size, up to about 30 feet. Dry sailing is actually better. It's easier on the boat, involves less cleaning and less maintenance, and you know, it takes me about 15, 20, 25 minutes to put this in. My wife goes sailing with me probably in a year. If we went twice, it was a big deal. You know, now we go almost every Friday and Saturday night.
Neat.
You know? So, you know, if we get good weather, we've got friends who love to sail. So it's a great facility because it really allows the people of Lake Forest to buy a boat. This size boat is perfect for the Southern Lakes. There's really not a lot of cruising down here. There's no, you know, really great offshore islands or anything, unfortunately. But you know, we have spectacular sailing here.
So you certainly have a strong passion that comes back, and being a Lake Forest resident, you felt that the facility here was so great that you even brought your own boat here, which is neat to know.
You're paying the taxes up here, you're living here. It's like, what am I doing driving to Wilmette?
Right.
You know, why wouldn't I just put my boat here and be sailing out of here?
Right.
And this is the boat that I teach sailing on.
So speaking of teaching, you said you began teaching with the program about 6 years ago. Now tell me a little bit more about that. You're working with the adults mainly, or do you also work with the kids program?
I exclusively deal with the adults.
Okay.
I love kids. Did a lot of scouting here and stuff. But sailing, I just, for some reason, you know, gravitated, partly because I just, you know, I have to work.
Right.
So I'm not down here during the day. But with the teaching, I meet a lot of people here from Lake Forest and from the north suburbs. I have a great time. I'm usually out on the water about 40, 50 days a year.
Okay.
It's a little bit like being a ski instructor, you know.
Yeah.
We have a great time. I've met so many fun people.
Yeah, it sounds to me like this type of program for sailing is really for any type of adult with any background. You just want to have a will and a love for sailing or an interest to learn.
Right.
So tell me a little bit more about the program specifically. As you mentioned that people can sign up together in small groups, or maybe it's a couple that wants to do it, or individuals. And what, you know, kind of ages does the adult program start?
Well, we've had everything from 18.
Okay.
We had a boat full of a youth group from a church here in town, and so they were like 18 through 25, say, like college age, just out of high school age. I've had a lot of college students, but mainly I have adults. A lot of adults, a lot of moms. Sometimes the kids are getting a little bit older and they're starting to get some of their time back.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes they've got little kids. I've had the super mom boat where it just worked out that it was all women. They all were career women. They all lawyers, architects, and with children. And it was like a riot to be with them. They were so much fun, but they were very obviously accomplished and fun people to spend time with. But so mainly adults, not necessarily from Lake Forest, but mainly adults.
From the area.
Yeah. The two classes that are listed in the book are Learn or Relearn to Sail.
Okay.
So if you have any experience or if you have no experience, it's really good. As you can see, the boat's really open. It's easy to sit here and talk. We can move around easily, so it doesn't really matter. We don't all have to be exactly the same level, and everyone gets an opportunity to do whatever it is they want to work on. So learn or relearn to sail, and then we also have keel boat certification, which is the first step in U.S. Sailing's program for bareboat chartering.
Okay, and tell me about what does this term bareboat mean?
Oh, well, a lot of people here in Lake Forest, of course, like to bareboat charter. They like to go either down to Florida, sometimes to Bay of Naples in Europe, or the West Coast, and you can charter a boat.
Okay.
You can charter a boat and then
take it out for a couple
depending
days.
upon your level of experience, you may or may not have to take a captain with you.
Okay.
Generally, if you go a few times and they get to know you and you get to know the equipment, they let you go. The keel boat certification is really a way for you to prove that you have the experience before they know you. It's very well, with most of the big charter companies, it's very well thought of.
Neat.
That course.
Neat. So you have both private lessons and group lessons for the adult sailing program?
Yeah, and we have private lessons on the schedule. We can be fairly flexible with those, and we can just have private lessons. We do have private lessons. If based on the availability of the boat, we can do that. Classes are usually scheduled in the beginning of summer here, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We're pretty much out on the water. Weekends are a little bit more open, but we can, if you call the rec center or if you call me through the rec center, we can definitely work things out so we get to go out on the water.
Excellent.
That's the whole point of having the boat.
And how long does the programs usually last? All summer long into the fall, or are there different segments? So if you say your family vacations, a certain time of year and you can't make it.
Yeah. The classes are basically 1 month long. We usually meet 8 times.
Okay.
So we're meeting twice a week. That's 4 weeks.
Okay.
We try to get about 24 hours on the water. The classes, and this is kind of important, the classes are all on the water.
Okay.
We have a textbook, we have some materials, and we certainly, it's a very good textbook, we like it, but we try to spend as much time on the water as we can. If we get good weather, and we generally do. I've had very few days that we haven't been able to go out. The first thing we try to teach students is just the physics of sailing, how the sailboat works. Wind hitting the sails is not how it will work, and actually is very inefficient. The way it works is by having the wind rush across the sails. Now if you pull your hand towards you, the bow will go to the right, will bear off from the wind, will bear off, and when the sail fills up, we're going to put our hand right to the center. Very good. Good job. It's going back that way, so we got to pull back a little bit. Right. So I can never tell you exactly where to put your hand because it's always a little bit different. So the student just needs to start watching the bow on the horizon or on the shoreline here, and if it's moving, move your hand the opposite way. So if it's going that way, you push your hand that way.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should say the same way.
Push it.
Right. So now it's moving that way, so you want to pull your hand towards
back.
you. Right.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, how beautiful that we're looking right here at the harbor.
Yeah, it's great to be just, here we are, 2 minutes outside the harbor. Sailing along.
So Jim, obviously learning the steering part is an important piece. What other things, can you give me a little explanation on? I mean, I've heard you talk about jibs and sheets and lines and things. Can you tell me a little bit and point out maybe just a few of those for us?
Sure. Well, this blue line here is the main sheet. This is the main line that we pull in and out to adjust the main. We have a jib sheet to adjust the sail that's in front of the boat. So it's the jib in front and the main back here. And what we cover in the course, we cover everything from tying the boat up correctly to rigging the boat, how the sails work, the theory of sailing, and then we come out and then hands-on we learn how to sail. It's really a sport that you can learn almost instantly and then continue to learn and continue to pick up more skills as you go along in life.
Now, should I be
turning somewhere?
Yeah, we're running out of lake. So let's push away. We're going to tack the boat. So if you push away, push all the way away. There you go, right there. We're going to let the boat spin. We're going to move the jib over here. Okay, now if you pull the tiller back to the center, very good. We tack the boat.
Okay.
Now if you'll switch sides, very carefully, be careful of your head on the boom. Good. Excellent. All right, push away a little bit more, Eileen, and let the bow, we need to go a little bit more to the right here. Now let's stop it right there. Oop, right there is good. This is a little harder because we don't have the lake, we don't have the shoreline in front of us. But
Okay.
if you look at your bow, you'll see it moving on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to push away a little bit because we're going away a little bit. Points of reference out here are a little bit tougher.
Okay.
The one thing we do have always is the compass.
Sure.
So you could look on the compass, you could say you're right around 60. Usually the first couple times out we don't talk about the compass too much because it's just one more, you know, it's confusing.
Now, can you tell me a little bit, Jim, about what the ideal is in terms of the steering with how the wind hits the sails? So you want it so that you're getting enough pressure, but not, you want it more sweeping across the sails?
Right. We want to have what's known as attached airflow. So we have telltales. I'm not sure you can see it in the camera, but we have tails on the front edge of the sails, and we have telltales up on top.
Those green and
The
red?
the green and orange one. And what we're
Okay.
looking for is we want to make sure that there's air rushing on each side of the sail. If you looked at the very front of the sail, it's actually cutting the wind right in half. And we want some to rush across the back and some to rush across the front. It's the exact same thing that makes an airplane fly.
Okay.
Okay? An airplane has to have wind rushing across its wings in order to create lift, and that's what we're doing. We create lift and the boat moves into that area. We also have two wings that are hidden on the boat. We have the keel and we have the rudder. They're both shaped like an airplane wing as well, and as the water rushes over them, again, attached water flow in that case, that makes more lift, and that's why a modern sailboat is so efficient.
Okay.
This boat can sail at almost the speed of the wind. Like on a day like today, the wind is probably not much more than 4 or 5, and we're going pretty close to 4 or 5.
Jim, I'd love for you to tell me just some of the basic terms of parts of the boat so I
Sure.
can understand the sailing lingo.
Okay. We have the bow, this is the front. We have the foredeck. We have the middeck. We have the companionway. This is the cockpit, nice big cockpit. We have the mast, which goes up and down. We have the boom. And of course, the way to remember that is that's the thing that hits you. So
Yeah.
it goes boom.
Keep your head
So,
low.
Mast, boom, shrouds and stays. We have the main sheet, which you should be holding.
Okay.
There you go. And we have the jib sheets right down here. And then we have various lines to control the sails. We have the vang, outhaul, downhaul. And this boat is like almost every boat from Ocean Racer to America's Cup to college dinghy. They all pretty much have the same controls and the same type of rigging and the same thing. If you can sail this boat, you can pretty much sail any boat. You can step on any boat and be really confident that you know what things do and what things are.
Okay.
So it's great that way, and that sailing is kind of a universal sport. So you can jump on a lot of boats and be really comfortable right away.
Jim, thank you so much for having us here today. It's really been a beautiful day and the experience and learning. There's so much more to learn about sailing though, and so could you give me the contact information on where people can sign up for the classes?
Sure. If you're interested, call the Lake Forest Rec Department or go to the City of Lake Forest, the Parks and Recreation Department online.
Great.
And the information is there. You can ask for me, Jim Sauser, and they'll give you my phone number. Call me up and let's talk about sailing. We'd love to see you out there.
Great.
Great.
Thank you for watching Inside Lake Forest. As you know, today I've been sailing with Jim on the outskirts of Lake Forest Beach here on Lake Michigan. We hope you check out the sailing program for adults and kids through the Rec Department.